I mean, this whole thing, I mean, if y'all know me in real life, you would know that this is literally the weirdest thing I can ever do. Hello. Welcome to the Terms and Conditions channel, or TNC for short. And this channel is a one-stop shop for everything that's got to do with personal finance and budgeting, that's got to do with investment strategies and analyses as a retail investor. And on the other hand, it's also about credit card strategies and miles churning, and then all the goodies that come with it, such as luxury, travel. So a little bit about me. I'm Chi Hang. I'm 26. I'm based in Singapore, and I'm currently working in the risk and management consulting business. I started work about July 2019, so this is about the 9-month mark. So why am I starting this channel? Well, the reasons are really twofold. First, I grew up having very little financial literacy. I grew up being essentially the kind who would spend every single thing that my parents gave me. And that honestly has put me behind a lot of my peers. I came into my first job essentially with no savings. Thank God I live at home. I live with my parents, so I don't have to pay rent. And during these very trying times, during economic and public health crises, I don't really have to worry too much about my financial and economic well-being because I know my parents are still here, right? But really, financial freedom is to stop relying on people around you and to start relying on yourself, right? And dividends from the investments that you have put into your own life, financial or non-financial. So the reason why I'm starting this channel is because I think there really is a very widespread lack of financial literacy among the millennial generation. So people of my age and similar ranges. People like us don't really think very much about long-term financial planning. They don't think very much about how to get the maximum value out of their own hard work and time. So that phenomenon is actually really, really bad in Singapore. The first reason of really starting this channel is mass education, right? I want to create something that I think is really lacking in the Singapore YouTube scene, of spreading knowledge about financial literacy, about how to grow your money. Well, the second reason, like I mentioned earlier, I think this channel, I really want it to be a personal journey as well. So a lot of the things I do think that I know a little bit more than most people. So when it comes to travel, when it comes to miles and points and credit card strategies, I feel like I have gotten my stuff together. I know exactly what's going on. But in other areas such as retail investments and like personal finance and budgeting, I do not claim to be an authority. In fact, I grew up having really bad budgeting skills. I'm always either in the red or like I'm always asking my parents for more money. So part of this whole YouTube channel thing is also really a story about self-growth, self-development, and self-betterment. So what I'm doing here is also really motivational for myself, to continue watching my own expenses and my own finances and budgeting. Okay, so before we go any further, I do want to kind of explain why I chose the name, Terms and Conditions. I think I was mainly inspired by the fact that a lot of people in my generation, and perhaps in other generations as well, will buy a product, right, like a new iPhone, and just skip through the entire terms and conditions section, even though a lot of times manufacturers or suppliers and producers, they put a lot of like little things into the TNC, and these things are actually really, really important. And as you subscribe to my channel and watch the other content that I'm putting out, you will start to realize that in personal finance, in investments, in credit card strategies, in aviation and travel and luxury traveling, what you're gonna get is a lot of these fine prints, right? What I'm doing is really helping everyone read in between the lines, read the fine print, so that we can all enjoy the finer things in life. And also, I guess the other reason is that a really good friend of mine has told me that my Tinder profile reads like a list of terms and conditions. So I guess that's that. In terms of what is gonna be in this channel, the way I'm envisioning it is I plan to upload 2 videos every week. one on Wednesday and one on Sunday night, Singapore time, so GMT +8. Some of the content that I want to be putting on my channel will be Singapore specific. So certain things like, talking about taxation and CPF, which is the Central Provident Fund, that's going to be very specific for a targeted Singaporean millennial audience. But other things that I'm going to be talking about is pretty much agnostic of wherever you might be watching this from. So in terms of credit card strategies and aviation and travel tips and hacks and tricks, these things I think are pretty much blind to borders. Wherever you might be, a lot of these strategies I think will be really beneficial and useful for you. So the way I'm envisioning my channel is going to be 4 different tracks or 4 different categories. The first category is going to be personal finance, where I'm going to be talking about budgeting and other things that are more like, contextualized, as like CPF and taxation and how to minimize your tax. So when it comes to the budgeting thing, what I have in mind right now is like a monthly budgeting series where I will go through exactly, not line by line, but essentially a breakdown and an analysis of what I have spent on. And I want to use this as an opportunity to spread the message that everyone should be budgeting to some extent. I'm not going to be extremely good at it. I'm going to tell you that up front because I spend a lot. And so this whole thing is also, like I said, it's a journey for me to minimize my own spending as well, and watch my own financial prudence. Well, the second category is going to be on retail investments, right? It's good that you're going to save quite a bit of money every month from your wages, from your salaries, but what are you going to do with the money? Are you just going to leave it in a high interest account with a bank, with your local bank? Or do you want to put your money into other forms of investment assets? So as a retail investor, it is such a daunting task, right? Because you don't know how to start. Like a lot of people whom I've spoken to around me are of a similar age as I am, often have the same issue, right? Which is extremely high barrier to entry. There's so much to learn. There's so many tools and strategies and investment assets out there. How are you going to pick the thing that's going to give you the best return? What is the best return, right? So I think a lot of people don't even know how to get started with all these concepts. So what I'm doing really in the retail investment track is put out a whole series of videos that talk about what I think is the best investment strategy and tool for me. Now, some people might find that they can relate to that. But at the end of the day, this is just a YouTube channel. It's for entertainment purposes. It's not meant to be financial advice. I am not your certified financial advisor. I do not have your full fiduciary interest in mind, but what I can recommend to you is something that I think is going to be very suitable for me and something that's going to be very suitable for most of the people I think who are around my age, who are just starting out working. The third track is credit card strategies. So these things are going to be a little bit more Singapore centric because each different country has their own credit card systems, and to be honest, there are like a ton of US based, at least, credit card YouTube channels out there. So I'm not gonna cover those things. I'm gonna cover what's ripe and ready in the Singapore credit card market. Something that really motivated me to start this channel is the fact that I think a lot of the big names that talk about credit cards, like your Money Smart, your Seedly types, are very often always sponsored. I don't like that. I don't like the fact that they're sponsored to promote a certain financial product. I think a lot of the things that they're saying on their websites and on their blogs are good. They're good as an entry-level kind of basic understanding of how credit cards work. But what I'm offering on my channel really is what I think is tailor-made almost to somebody who is working, who has just started working, who is a millennial, who might read Seedly or Money Smart every now and then, and are susceptible to getting the wrong idea or not getting the most optimal idea about what kind of credit cards they should be getting. So the credit card track really is all about not leaving any value on the table. I know a lot of people are not very comfortable with getting a credit card. They don't know what it takes to get a credit card. They don't understand the fact that getting a credit card really isn't about the credit itself. It really is about getting all the points and miles and rewards that we can redeem, for like great benefits, right? Especially in the travel industry. So that really leads into the last track or category of the kind of videos that I'm going to be putting out on my channel, which is travel. I love travel. I travel a lot. I managed to travel to many, many different places. And honestly, after so many different trips, I feel like I am at a position to give advice about what are some of the best strategies to adopt when traveling, what are some of the tips and tricks, how do you get the biggest bang for your buck, taking advantage of loopholes and opportunities within the aviation industry, so that you get to travel on premium cabins, you get to travel on business class for a fraction of the cost that you think it's going to cost you. Well, I'm also thinking about in the future of doing vlogs, although I think those are really commonplace and they're like horribly overdone. Well, I really want to use my vlogs to show how itinerary planning can be made, how, for example, solo traveling can be done. Like a lot of people around me have asked me about my solo traveling experiences. So I feel like in the future, I do want to put out videos that talk about these kind of things. Well, that was exhausting. I hate being on camera. I'm extremely camera shy. I hate the way I sound. I hate the way I look on camera. So the fact that I'm doing this probably speaks to how passionate I am about the topics that I'm talking about. So yeah, like this is really weird. This is literally me sitting in my room talking to myself while I guess my camera for like 10 whole minutes. It's so strange. It's such a strange, surreal experience. If we're close friends, we would probably have talked about this in real life. You would have given me some advice on how to do this. And I feel like it took me a really long time to get up the courage of finally doing it. And here I am, I'm doing it. So yeah, I would really, really love for you to show me any kind of support that you can. Stay tuned for new content in the upcoming days. Thank you for tuning in to the TNC channel.